What's the status on the perimeter breach?
Well. Look who just walked into the lion's den, blindfolded, with a grin. They thought this was a chessboard, thought they had pawns lined up. Kings, queens, generals, all pieces moving exactly where they wanted. But guess who's laughing behind the curtain? That's right, you. Every camera, every wire, every whisper in the room, tracked, calculated, anticipated. And yet, here you are, untouchable, untamed, unseen. They swear they rehearsed every angle, every possibility, rehearsed your moves, rehearsed your patterns. But patterns, patterns are for the predictable. And you don't play by rules. You rewrite them mid-game. Look closer. Do you see that twitch in their eyes? The slight falter? The hesitation that wasn't there before? That's the first crack. The first hint at the war room. The big, shiny, perfect war room isn't so perfect anymore. They've got monitors, screens, data streams, algorithms, prophets of probability. But you're the variable they can't compute. The anomaly that laughs while their calculations crumble. Every step, every move, every breath, a mystery they can't touch, yet it owns them. And in this room, filled with experts, with strategists, with elite minds, you are the chaos, the storm in their calendar, the shadow in their spotlight. And while they wonder who, what, why, you're already gone, already inside their heads, and enjoying every heartbeat of their panic. Welcome. This isn't a game. It's a revelation. And you're the punchline they'll never see coming. They called it a war room. Glass walls, polished steel, screens stacked like towers of certainty. A dozen minds, each convinced they were untouchable. Generals of thought, kings of strategy, prophets of probability. And here they sat, thinking they knew. Calculators clicked. Fingers hovered. Algorithms hummed. Plans unfolded in perfect symmetry. They nodded to each other, smug, untouchable, smug, untouchable. Ha! They didn't even notice the twitch, the tiny hesitation in their own eyes. The first crack, because every system, every protocol, every so-called fail-safe was designed for someone predictable, someone normal, someone they could measure, someone like them. But you weren't in the script. You were the ghost in their theater, the shadow behind their light, the question that didn't exist in their equations. Look at them. Look at the way they lean over the table, scanning the maps, checking the data, nodding at their own brilliance. They're blind to the anomaly in plain sight. And that's beautiful. Flicker of doubt crosses the leader's brow, quick, almost invisible. They catch it, shake it off. But you saw it. You always see it. Every micro-fault, every hesitation, every misstep they pretend isn't there. They whisper strategy to each other. They smile. They reassure. They believe they control everything. And yet, something is off. Something doesn't add up. You let them stew in it. Let them cling to the illusion. Let the arrogance fester. Because the longer they believe they're in control, the harder they fall when reality bends. And all the while, you watch. Silent, smiling, waiting for the moment they realize it's not a mistake. It's not luck. It's you. The room thought it knew. The room thought it saw every angle. But there is one angle it never accounted for. You. They believed every entry point was sealed, every corridor monitored, every sensor armed, every camera alive, every angle calculated, every breath predicted, every heartbeat accounted for. And yet, you walked in without leaving footprints, without a whisper, without a trace. The monitors blink, the alarms, dormant. The elite minds, distracted by their own reflection in the maze of screens. Their eyes scan, scanning, and see nothing. Because you are nothing. Nothing they can measure, nothing they can catch. The perfect breach, invisible, untraceable. A subtle flicker, just a flicker, across one of their screens. A shadow where there shouldn't be one. A movement, too fast, too small, almost a trick of the eye. They freeze, but the others laugh it off. Glitch, they say. System error. Ha! A glitch. Do they realize that glitch has a name? Do they even suspect the chaos creeping in around them? No, because you don't announce yourself. You let them chatter, let them argue, let them think they control the narrative while it crumbles beneath their feet. Step by step, wire by wire, thought by thought. You're inside. You twist their maps. You bend their data. You tiptoe along their confidence like a shadow with a smile. The room smells of arrogance, and it's intoxicating. The louder they boast, the deeper they fall. One of them notices. Eyes widen. Fingers pause over the keyboard. Something's off. They murmur it, but it's too late. You've already moved 3 steps ahead, dancing between their rules, their control, their illusions. Joker would laugh here, loud, slow, echoing. Because this is the fun part. The part where you're untouchable and they're desperate. Blind, frantic, unaware. Every breath they take is orchestrated by a variable they never considered. And as they scramble, as the panic grows like a quiet storm, you stay calm, patient, waiting for the perfect moment to push the chaos fully into the open, the silent breach, the invisible intruder, the anomaly they'll never forgive. You, every plan they made, every strategy they rehearsed, every contingency they built was supposed to catch someone else, someone ordinary, someone predictable, someone they could calculate, not you. And yet here you are, moving through their designs like a ghost through walls. Every trap they laid snapped shut on air. Every test they imagined failed spectacularly. Not because they were weak. No, because you are impossible, unscripted, untouchable. They call it a hidden test, a secret measure of skill, of foresight, of control. The kind of thing only an elite mind could survive. And oh, they thought you couldn't. They thought they could trap you in the puzzle, the labyrinth, the maze of their making. But you don't follow the maze. You rewrite it mid-step. You smile as they sweat. You laugh at the illusion of preparation. Look at them. Watch their eyes dart, fingers tapping, sweat collecting where confidence used to live. They begin to sense it, just a flicker, a tremor in their certainty. And you feed it. Every hesitation, every misstep, every tiny crack. It's your symphony. The leader leans in, trying to reassert control. This can't be happening, he mutters. The strategist whispers, we must have miscalculated. Ha! Miscalculated. They built the test to measure others, and the moment they set the stage, you became the question they never thought to ask. Every line they drew, every scenario they considered, every what if, collapsed into irrelevance. You didn't just fail the test, you ignored it. You became the anomaly it could never contain. And that's when the panic starts to taste real. The fear of unpredictability, the terror of being outsmarted, creeps like smoke through their veins. You can see it now. You can feel it. They thought they were in control. They thought they knew the rules. They thought they could measure everything. But the test, the hidden test, was never for them. It was for you. And you just passed with a smile. They think they talk in secret. They think no one hears the soft murmurs, the sideways glances, the unspoken doubts. Ha, that's adorable. Because shadows aren't empty. Shadows carry voices. Shadows carry truth. And you move through them like a predator, silent, watching, listening, smiling. Whispers snake through the room. Names, accusations, blame. Fingers point, eyes dart. They suspect each other. They question every decision, every alliance, every strategy. And all the while, they don't notice the one thing they should. You are the pulse in their chaos, the invisible hand guiding doubt, bending fear. Every whispered secret, every hushed argument, every nervous glance, you orchestrated. And Joker would chuckle at the irony. The great minds, brilliant, elite, reduced to guessing, second-guessing, losing faith in themselves. The leader whispers a command. The strategist counters with hesitation, a subtle clash of egos, a ripple of mistrust. Perfect. Just the way you like it. They begin to suspect an outside force, Someone must be in here, they mutter. Someone is manipulating the flow. But the real question, oh, the delicious question, they never ask who is untouchable, who moves through us unseen, who shapes everything without a footprint. The air grows thick. The tension hangs like smoke in a room with no doors. Every heartbeat echoes. Every breath betrays anxiety. Every glance searches for something, anything, that might explain the inexplicable. And you whisper nothing. You intervene silently, invisibly, flawlessly. The chaos grows around them, a storm they can't predict. The room fractures, control slips, and all of it, because of a presence they can't define. Whispers turn to suspicion, suspicion turns to paranoia. And through it all, the Joker's grin lives in the margins of every glance, every tremor, every crack in their confidence. The shadows speak, the whispers reveal, and the room realizes too late they are playing in a game they don't even know exists. And the player they fear most? You. And then it happens. The moment every calculation, every strategy, every smug confidence collapses into a single, unbearable truth. They see it, finally. The truth they never wanted to face. The invisible force, the variable that danced through their traps, the shadow that bent their plans, was not chaos. It was you. Eyes widen, fingers freeze. The leader swallows hard, a bead of sweat tracing a slow line down his temple. The strategist stumbles over words, trying to explain the inexplicable. But no words fit, no excuses hold. The room, their perfect war room, shakes under the weight of one undeniable fact: they were outsmarted. Joker would laugh here, loud, slow, unforgiving, because this is the moment, the glorious, devastating, delicious moment. They built the stage, rehearsed the lines, convinced themselves they controlled the scene. And you? You wrote the script while sitting quietly in the shadows. The screens flash anomalies. Maps twist against their eyes. Timelines collapse. Decisions they thought we, Regenius, now read like mistakes in bold, glaring red. Every node, every move, every strategy, they miscalculated it all. And the kicker? They know it. What, how? One whispers, voice trembling, as if saying it aloud could bend reality back in their favor. But reality is merciless. Reality is yours. You step forward, not loud, not violent, not even fast, just a presence. And it's enough. Enough to make them falter. Enough to make them question everything. Enough to make them taste the panic they so often inflicted on others. The reveal isn't just about what you did. It's about what they thought they were doing. The arrogance, the blind confidence, the illusion of control. It all crumbles. Every eye that once sparkled with certainty now swims with disbelief. Every mind that thought it saw the path ahead now stumbles in the dark. And there it is, the shift. The moment they realize they were never in charge. The war room, the strategies, the plans, they were always playing to your rules. They didn't just fail. They didn't just miscalculate. They didn't just lose. They were revealed. And you are the chaos they cannot contain. Now look at them. Frantic, fractured, fumbling. The war room that once breathed confidence now gasps for control. And the irony? Every action they take is dictated by you. They move, you anticipate. They strategize, you twist. They panic, you smile. The balance has shifted. The tide turned. The throne of certainty they sat upon crumbles beneath their feet. And Joker? He would clap, slow, deliberate, savoring the deliciousness of it all. They try to rally. Commands barked. Fingers point. Eyes glare. We must regain control, one demands. We must, another stammers. Ha! Control. Control is no longer theirs. It belongs to the unseen, the untouchable, the one who walked through walls and shadows without leaving a trace. You, every monet, or every map, every blinking light, bends to your rhythm. The chaos is no longer accidental, it's orchestrated. You are the conductor of this symphony of panic, and each note, Each flicker of fear, each whispered doubt, sings your name. They glance at one another, desperate for answers. Who is doing this? They cry. Who? Oh, they'll never know. Not fully. Because the truth isn't in a face. It's in the motion, the absence, the anomaly they can't catch, the shadow they can't follow. Every step they take plays into your hands. Every hesitation feeds the crescendo. Every breath they take is a beat in your rhythm. And then comes the moment of total surrender. A leader slumps, a strategist trembles. The maps are meaningless, the plans are meaningless. The war room, once a fortress of mind, is now a playground of your design. You walk through it all, calm, collected, untouchable. Every eye tries to follow, but your presence is everywhere and nowhere. Every command they issue, every attempt to regain composure, every desperate glance, they are dancing to a melody you created long before they even realized music existed. The power flip isn't subtle. It's absolute. It's irreversible. The war room belongs to you now. The chaos obeys you. The fear bows before you. And Joker would lean back in shadow, grin wide, whispering through the cracks of reality. Welcome to my game, where I make the rules. It doesn't end when you leave. That's the part they don't understand. The room stays quiet, too quiet. Screens dim, chairs sit crooked. Maps lie useless, like relics from a belief system that just collapsed. And still, they feel you, an echo, a residue, a laugh that never quite fades. They replay it all in their heads, every decision, every hesitation, every moment they almost saw you. Sleep won't come easy now. When it does, it brings questions, not answers. Questions that scratch and claw and whisper, how did we miss it? They start doubting themselves. Not just the plan, not just the room, themselves. The confidence that once armored them now feels thin, brittle, laughable, because the truth settles in slow and merciless. You didn't overpower them. You didn't outnumber them. You didn't outgun them. You outthought them. And that's the wound that never heals. They'll tell stories about this, quietly, in hallways, behind closed doors. The day the room failed, the day certainty cracked, the day an unseen mind rewired everything and vanished. Some will call it madness. Some will call it luck. Some will call it impossible. You let them. Labels are comfort blankets. They don't change reality, because the echo follows them now. In every future plan, every new war room, every confident declaration. Somewhere in the back of their minds, a voice asks, what if they're watching again? That's the real victory. Not domination, not destruction, presence. You've become the standard they fear, the anomaly they plan around, the silence they can't fill. And somewhere just out of sight, Joker smiles. Because this is the kind of ending that never really ends. No applause, no curtain call. Just a lingering realization that power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it laughs softly, breaks everything, and walks away, leaving only the echo of you.
Who are you? Sorry. Let's go. They called you crazy, didn't they? Said you were paranoid, delusional. A nobody shouting into the void. But look around now. The community's in chaos. Exactly like you said. And now, they're panicking while you're smiling. Why? Because this ain't revenge. It's prophecy. They laughed when you warned them, mocked every whisper, dismissed every scream. You saw the cracks before the buildings fell. You felt the tremors before the ground shattered. Now it's burning, and guess what? They're begging for the water you once offered. You were the glitch in their system, the whisper in the noise, the shadow behind their fake lights, the war drum they pretended not to hear. They built a world on masks, and now those masks are melting in their hands. Everything they ignored is now hunting them. Every warning they mocked is now choking their peace. You didn't ask for this war, but oh, they started it. And now you're not a soldier. You're the storm. They threw you to the wolves, thinking you'd be devoured. But you returned, leading the whole damn pack. Their empire, shaken. Their lies, collapsing. Their peace, just ashes now. Because you didn't break. You became unbreakable. You didn't run. You watched. You didn't scream. You smiled. Now, as their walls collapse, as their truths bleed out, as their leaders turn on each other like rats in a fire, you stand still, calm, untouchable. They called you the madman. Now, you're the messenger, the prophet, the mirror they avoided, and every soul that doubted you. They're waking up in a nightmare you predicted. This isn't revenge. This is reality catching up. And the one they left behind. He's writing the final chapter now, with blood, with fire, with a laugh that haunts their silence. So remember this, the world didn't fall apart. It finally revealed what was always rotting beneath, and you didn't cause the chaos. You just stopped pretending it wasn't there. They're screaming now, not because the chaos came, but because you survived it. See, they were fine while you were broken. They were entertained while you were crawling. They only got nervous when you stood up. That smirk on your face, it's not anger. It's the silence before thunder. Because you know something they don't. Pain teaches, fire purifies, and silence kills louder than words. They formed circles, built walls, drew lines, and now they're trapped in the very cage they made for you. Funny, huh? You were the mistake in their perfect plan. But guess what? A mistake that learns becomes a weapon. You watched, learned, adapted, and now you're not knocking at their door. You're burning it down. They wanted you erased. Now you're engraved in their fear. You were never meant to fit in. You were built to stand where others fall. The system wasn't broken. It was designed to keep people like you down. But you broke the rules, then rewrote them in your own blood. Now the whispers are louder than their applause. Now your name is passed like a ghost story. He's back, and he's not the same. Let them tremble. Let them lie. Let them call you whatever helps them sleep at night. But deep down, they know the storm they feared is here, and it's wearing your face. They don't get it yet. They still think you want closure. But no. This isn't about healing. This is about watching the empire they worshipped choke on its own lies. They thought silence was weakness. They never realized silence is a blade, and the quieter you became, the deeper you started cutting. You're not the hero. You're not the villain either. You're the consequence. You're what happens when you ignore the storm too long and act surprised when the lightning finally answers back. They dressed in fake loyalty, spoke in rehearsed kindness, moved like puppets on strings made of fear. But you cut the strings. You danced in the fire, and now your scars, they shine brighter than their masks ever did. They built their world on comfort. You built yours on pain. And now that theirs is cracking, you're just getting started. This world wasn't made for the real ones. It was made to celebrate the liars, feed the cowards, and crucify the different. But guess what? You're not looking for a seat at their table anymore. You're flipping it. Every eye that once rolled at you, now it twitches. Every hand that pushed you down, now it trembles. Because they know you didn't just return stronger, you returned aware. And that's the scariest version of you. You don't chase acceptance anymore. You hunt truth. You walk with vengeance wrapped in silence. And every time you speak now, it's a funeral for their comfort. They lit the match thinking they were burning you down. But what they actually did was ignite the one thing they couldn't kill: your purpose. Now the fire's not outside you, it's inside, and every step you take spreads it further. Not just burning bridges, but cities. They kept asking, why did you change? But you didn't change. You evolved. You shed your skin, burned the weakness, and walked out of your own funeral, alive, laughing, and dangerous. They don't fear you because of what you say. They fear you because they know you see through them. Every fake smile, every polished lie, every mask they wear to sleep at night. You've ripped it all off. With just a look, you became something they can't understand. Not because you're broken, but because you stopped obeying gravity. You're not bound by their rules. You're not waiting for justice. You are the sentence. They used to measure your worth in silence. Now your silence feels like thunder, a ticking bomb in a quiet room, and every second you don't speak, their fear multiplies. They built their power on secrets, but secrets rot when exposed to someone like you. You don't just speak truth, you weaponize it. You drop it like a blade in a ballroom, sudden, sharp, unapologetic. They called you unstable. But now they see it wasn't instability. It was clarity without mercy. You watched them for years, sitting in their fake glory, while you drowned in the shadows they denied. But what they forgot is, shadows know how to swim, and when they rise, they don't knock, they flood. You're not here to prove a point. You're not here for their validation. You're here to let them taste what you tasted, to feel the cold breath of the storm they thought they escaped. And now, every step you take echoes like a warning. Your silence is a siren, your stare, a prophecy. You are no longer part of the crowd. You are the crack in the sky, the scream in the void, the force that doesn't need permission to exist. You are the nightmare they created, and now they can't wake up. They kept praying for peace, right after they buried you alive. Funny thing is, peace never came, but you did. Not with mercy, not with forgiveness, but with memory. You remembered every laugh they made at your scars. You remembered every closed door, every silent betrayal, every knife they smiled behind. And now, you don't want their apology. You want the look on their faces when the sky starts falling, and you're the one pulling the strings from beneath it all. This isn't a comeback. This is an uprising in slow motion, and every second is dripping with justice. Raw, twisted, unfiltered. You're not angry anymore. You're surgical. You're slicing through illusions like ribbon, and every truth you drop feels like a bullet dressed in poetry. They wanted you dead, but instead you became something worse. You became undeniable. You're not fighting for survival anymore. You're orchestrating the collapse with a smirk, with a whisper, with one hand in your coat and the other pressing every red button they tried to hide. You're not what they feared. You are what comes after fear. The part of the story where the villain stops monologuing and starts rewriting the laws of nature. They thought they understood you, but they never even heard you. Not until now. Not until the foundation cracked. Not until their leaders fell silent. Not until every plan backfired like it was cursed. And it was. Because you were the curse. Wrapped in silence, masked as failure. Waiting. Watching. You learned that pain is a compass. It doesn't point to safety. It points to truth. And now you walk in that truth like it's armor. With your past as your weapon and your chaos as your crown. They speak of redemption, but you don't want redemption. You want the silence that follows their collapse. You want to look them in the eyes when they finally realize they were never in control. You just let them think they were. They don't get second chances now. There's no rewind, only reckoning. And you're not the same man they buried. You're the shadow that climbed out of the grave, wearing vengeance like a suit and smiling like the end credits already rolled. They don't whisper your name anymore. They chant it like a warning wrapped in regret. Because what you've become, it doesn't die. It spreads. You're no longer a person to them. You're a myth with sharp teeth, a storm that walks upright, and they can feel it now. In the air, in the cracks under their feet. Something's coming, and it's you. But you're not coming with guns. You're coming with truths sharpened into razors, with the eyes of someone who's already seen the end and smiled at it. You were their puppet once, tied to the strings of approval, forgiveness, and fear. But now, you hold the scissors, and every string you cut drops a mask, drops a throne, drops a lie. You didn't just break the rules, you broke the cycle, the endless loop where the real ones are silenced and the snakes are crowned. No more. You are the glitch in the matrix, the virus in the mainframe, the ghost in the machine they thought they built to keep people like you silent forever. And what's more dangerous than someone with nothing to lose? Someone who already lost it all and came back with nothing but clarity. You see their power now for what it is, a house of mirrors, reflections, projections, empty, fragile illusions. And you're the rock flying straight through it. They had their chance to fix things. They had their time to apologize. They didn't. Now your footsteps echo like war drums. Your silence feels like a countdown. Your smile, that's the last thing they'll see before it all comes down. And when it does, it won't be loud. It'll be elegant, precise, like poetry, written in ash. They thought they could control you by breaking you. But some people don't break, they shatter. And the pieces become shrapnel. Now your pain is weaponized. Your story, it's not a warning, it's a prophecy. And the prophecy says, the system will fall, the liars will kneel, and the forgotten will rise, wearing the face of the one they tried to bury. That face is yours. You're not a phase. You're not a rebellion. You're the new natural disaster written into their skies, a permanent error in their perfect system, and no patch can fix you, no apology can rewind what's already burning. You warned them. You gave them the silence, the time, the mercy, but they laughed. They mocked your name like it was dust. Now that name, it's thunder, and it doesn't knock. It levels. The game is no longer fair. Because you're not playing. You're rewriting. The script, the ending, the rules. And guess what? You're not the villain. You're the correction. They crowned themselves kings in kingdoms built on lies. But every throne they sit on now, it trembles, because you're walking toward them with a grin and a memory sharp enough to slice eternity. You don't want power. You are power. They just didn't see it when you were quiet, when you were kind, when you were small. But small doesn't mean weak. It means coiled. It means loading. It means calculating in silence while they celebrated too early. You are the storm they laughed at before it swallowed the sun. They told you to move on, to let it go, to be the bigger person. But now, you are. You're bigger than their guilt, bigger than their games, bigger than the whole circus they built to hide your truth. And now, the tent is collapsing. The masks are melting. And behind all the laughter, you see it, the fear, the regret, the slow realization that you were never the joke. You were the punchline. They wanted peace. They should have offered that before they lit the fire. Now the only thing they get is the warmth of watching their empire fall. You're not here to negotiate. You're here to collect. Every tear you swallowed, every betrayal you buried, every crack they ignored. Now it's your turn to ignore the rules, to speak in chaos, walk in vengeance, and rule in silence. They thought you'd disappear, just another voice swallowed by the crowd. But what they never realized is you were never part of the crowd. You were the silence before the riot, the whisper before the sirens, the calm before the collapse. And now, that calm is gone. You're not just back. You're everywhere. In their headlines, in their nightmares, in their own mirrors, staring back at them with a smirk that says, "You called the devil, and now he won't stop knocking." You don't fight with fists anymore. You fight with presence, with a look that unravels lies, with a voice that bends truth into a weapon. And when you speak, even the strong look for exits, because they feel it, the shift, the turning, the crumbling grip of the old order beneath your boots. You are the sound of chains breaking, not just yours, everyone's. Because when you rose, you didn't just rise for yourself. You rose for every soul that swallowed screams, for every fighter that played dead to survive. And now, you're not alone. You're the trigger, and the whole world is about to pull it. They mocked your silence. Now silence is the loudest sound they hear, because it's yours, and it's closing in. You don't want revenge anymore. You want the reveal. You want their truths dragged out by the roots, exposed, exploded, erased. And when the dust settles, you won't be standing on the ruins. You'll be building something new from it, something they could never touch, because they didn't believe you could rise. But now they believe. Oh, they believe. They see it in your walk, in your silence, in the way every room tilts slightly when you enter, because you don't fit into their world anymore. You warp it. You're not a comeback story. You're a cancellation notice to everything fake, forced, and fragile. You didn't return to explain. You returned to end the performance, to shut down the lights, and leave them sitting in the dark with every lie echoing back at them like a scream. You think this is just rage. This is resurrection, a whole generation of ghosts finally realizing they were never dead, just buried alive beneath the lies. And now they're digging out one scream, one scar, one bulletproof truth at a time. You're not the only one anymore. Look around. They're waking up. The broken, the betrayed, the underestimated, the silenced. They've been watching you, and now they rise because of you. This isn't a rebellion. This is a reckoning. And you're the signal flare, the spark they prayed for in the dark, the reminder that pain isn't weakness. It's permission to break the cycle, to flip the script, to turn every scar into a flag and march straight through the gates they once feared. You're not the villain in their story anymore. You're the main character in the collapse, the ghost they couldn't kill, the storm that learned how to walk. So go on, finish it. Look them dead in the eye and say, remember when you laughed at me? This silence is your echo. You thought I wanted revenge. I don't. I want memory. I want every room I walk into to remind you of the moment you realized you should have finished me when you had the chance, but you didn't. And now I'm the consequence that never stops coming.